Hello and welcome to the studio. My name is Scott and welcome to the ongoing saga that is my hair. And today I'm going to share with you some of my favourite approaches to bar chords to make them sound a little bit more interesting. Now those are bar chords. Hopefully you recognise what that is. This video is for people who understand at least what an E-shape bar chord is, which is as far as we've gone for the next step course. Those bar chords, they sound great. Bar chords are amazing tools to access any chord you want, any kind of colour that you need for whatever song. A basic rock and pop song, if you have a random chord thrown in you don't know what it is, a bar chord makes that possible. Now, when you've been doing bar chords for a long time, you start to recognise the voicing of the chord, the way the notes are stacked. We have the root, fifth, root, third, fifth, root. That's an E shape. For an A shape, you have root, fifth, root, third, fifth. So they are structured the same way, which means they virtually sound the same. Apart from the tone of the thicker strings, there's no difference with those notes. Now sometimes I want a little bit of a varied texture within that. I don't want to always do every song with bar chords because it just feels samey. You find a lot of bands will feel samey if you listen to a whole album of, Green Day or Blink-182 or just random bands. I know they've got a lot of variation within what they do, but you can pick any band. You find some generic quality that links them together. That's the style of the band, and a lot of the time it's the voicings of the chord that does that. You can listen to the Hives. They'll use very similar voicings throughout all their songs and similar chord progressions too. As long as you like that kind of thing, you're going to like the band, you're going to like the music. But I do like to have some variation in texture. Now I can go two different ways. I can either make it more complicated, a bit more complex to listen to by adding more notes in, or I can minimize it to the least amount of notes as possible. First thing I'm going to talk about is complication.
Complicate.
Now when I say complicated, I'm not talking about physically difficult. I'm talking about harmonically complicated. We are adding new notes into the chord. If we take an A chord as an example, I do the same progression that I did right at the beginning of this section, where I played A and C sharp minor. Now, on their own, they sound quite nice. They're very contrasting chords. One of my favourite chord changes, the major root to the minor third. If I wanted to change the colour of that and make it feel a little bit more interesting and different and bigger and more ethereal, then I could lift my index finger up, not bar it anymore, just use my fingertip, and that gives us the open B string and open high E string. Now we're adding a B and an E note into an A chord. Now E is already in the chord, that doesn't change it, but a B is the ninth interval from A, which means this is an A add 9 chord, and it feels a lot different to A. One feels like a primary colour, like kindergarten building blocks chord. I know it's difficult to play, but I'm talking about just the sound of it. It's very basic sounding, there's only 3 notes there, compared to... And that's the kind of thing I imagine you'd have to play in a meadow to summon fairies. It's really nice for finger picking. And when you link it to another chord, like the C sharp minor in an A shape, I'll do the same thing. I'll keep that index finger off, and that open E string is going to keep ringing. It's going to link those two chords together. You're not going to have any space in between the chord. So what do you think of that? Does that sound better? Does it sound worse? What do you think? It's all down to your opinion. Let me know in the comments. Now, one thing you do really need to know for this is when you move this chord, B and E are going to have a different effect on the chord depending on what the chord is. If I change this to a G chord, then B is already in the chord. That's not going to affect it. But E is the sixth of the chord. And a sixth interval gives a different quality to the chord than a ninth does. It's going to feel a bit different. It's not going to feel like you're attracting fairies anymore. Plus we got two Bs, which are kind of exactly the same note, same frequency, so they ring out quite a lot. There's two strings doing the same thing, so there's going to be extra volume there. From that frequency, there's double the strength. So the sixth doesn't actually shine through. A sixth chord should sound like the end of SpongeBob. This doesn't have that effect. It feels like it wants to move on, it wants to go somewhere else. If I take it to a B, if I play a B chord, obviously a B string is the root, B doesn't affect it at all, but E is the 11th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is B add 11. Contrary to a video that I watched earlier on, I was going to do a reaction for it, but it's not even worth the reaction. It doesn't seem like a person with 1.5 million subscribers knows what a B11 chord is, or B add 11. But that's what it is. Do you recognise this from any song? Let me know in the comments if you do. Now those are all chords where B and E have a nice effect on the chord. There are more as well. You can experiment. I'm not going to tell you all of them, but some work better than others, A shapes and E shapes. But some don't work. Some don't work at all. But I don't want to say they're wrong, because they're not wrong. If I played an A flat major chord with this, the note means something else. It adds some discomfort to the chord, which needs to be corrected. But it sounds quite nice. I just like that. It's kind of nice. Tension, release. Building tension, release. Tension, release. It's all about tension and release with everything. And sometimes discomfort just leads to extra comfort, if you know what I mean. Now that is an easy way to incorporate new notes into bar chords by recruiting the open strings to help you out a little bit. Technically though, as soon as you lift that index finger off the fretboard, it's no longer a bar chord. The reason why it's called a bar chord is because your finger's barring across. So technically, the people commenting saying, that's not a bar chord. It's not a bar chord because your finger isn't fretting down all of the strings on the fretboard. It's not even down on all of the strings. But to those people, I just say, just catch your breath, just calm down. Because this is just a variation of a bar chord. Now you can go the other way, do the opposite, and strip a chord back to its bare minimum, the minimum amount of notes that you need in a chord to make it feel the way that it should. Simplify. If we look at an A chord, that's the root, third and fifth, all in the order that we mentioned earlier on. This is an A minor chord. And that is root, flat third and fifth. We just flatten the third of a major chord and it makes it minor. Now, just looking at that, the sound, it couldn't be more different really. Major, minor. It's very different. Like the tonality of it is a completely different colour. And I know I talk about colours quite a lot. I'm sorry if people don't think of these chords as colours, but I always do. I don't know whether that's helpful or not for a lot of people. Maybe not. Just by looking at that chord, the only thing that we change from major to minor is your second finger, your middle finger. The note on the G string comes on and off. Depends what shape you're in, of course. I'm in an E shape, so the G string is going to be important to the tonality of the chord. That third, whether it's a flat third or major third, needs to be in the chord. So that one stays. We keep it in terms of A for now. The other intervals of a chord, the root, we need the root to give the third context. Otherwise, the third isn't a third. The third could be the root. The third could be the fourth, the fifth, the seventh. Because the third doesn't mean anything without the root. As a pair, they have tonality. The fifth is the fifth, whether it's major or minor. The fifth doesn't make a chord sound happy or sad or tranquil or bluesy or, I was going to say dexterous. Can something sound dexterous? I don't know. It's one of those philosophies that we'll never know. But the fifth is something that we don't need. We can get rid of that one, and quite often we do. When we advance to more exotic chords, we get rid of the fifth to add something more weighty. We use it to add a ninth or anything. You can get rid of the fifth. The fifth doesn't have to be there. Because we've only got 6 strings, we are at a disadvantage to pianists and pianos, because they've got 10 fingers, they can play 10 notes at once. Possibly more, I suppose, if they can go in between. I don't know. I'm not a piano player, so I can't really comment on that. But we cannot get 10 notes, so we have to sacrifice notes to get the right one. And fifth is one that we can sacrifice. So if we just play the root and the third, we end up with that. There's a lot of songs with this interval in. So one of them is this one. And then we've got... And then this one's a bit more obscure. I'd be impressed if anyone knows what this is. So just to compare this to a normal chord, we will play E minor, C, G, and B major to add a touch of class, I think. And I'll play it normally with full chords. So this has got a lot of rhythm. It's kind of normal way to play. E major that was, I am adding a bit of percussion with the way that I play and naturally do and hitting the strings. And the next time round, I'm going to take all the notes away apart from the ones beneath, the roots and the thirds. This isn't a song, it's just a random chord progression I put together. So you can use this a lot of different ways. The minimalist version kind of has like a techno vibe. And as a little bit of an extra point, this is especially handy when you're looping, because it leaves a lot of room to add, bass lines and different moving notes, and if you want to do a solo in the middle of something, it lets that shine through. It doesn't, you're not kind of always battling for volume. It's more about frequency space, like leaving space for things.